Okay, Duane, every endeavor these days seems to involve a marketing ploy. And we find that even those who health products, they are tapping into the world of dreams. Some say eating certain combinations of natural foods will improve the quality of one's dreams. Yeah, and the worldwide educators concentrate on the new song as the catalyst to having good and meaningful dreams on the real side. I have the impression that the message about dreams as primordial for understanding the life beyond the visible physical universe um, has probably reached out there, and commercialists are tapping into it. So, Dwayne, what do you say about food as an aid to the dreaming process? And can the worldwide educators be accused of using a marketing ploy to advance its message?
Kelsey, has anybody been accused yet of anything? Yes, we have. Okay. We're constantly accused of things, so that's normal. So we're fine with that. So yes, when it comes to food and that, okay, I'm going to go back in my life a little bit when I was younger and I surfed and I ate all the funny food that kids do. Okay, and you know what? I surfed fine. I dreamed fine. It was whatever. And again, the idea of health with food and all that, yeah, it's a choice. And you know, here's what I think. Yes, and we do have our own marketing ploy, but it's for a benefit, not a demise, like most marketing ploys. So we do use that idea of things. Okay. Okay. Yes. Again, Charles, with your question, yes. Yeah, it's a choice, and it does help. Of course, anything helps. It's like changing the oil in your car. Your car can run with the old oil for a long, long time. Actually, my daughter ran her Honda for 9 years on the original oil until the engine blew up, but it lasted 9 years. She never changed it. And then she had to get a new car. So every 9 years you can get a new car and you don't have to change the oil. But in the meantime, yes, the food and that can help and about the dreams. But what I see mainly is that yes, your real awareness supersedes all that because you have five bodies to deal with, and the five bodies are cause and effect. And what is food? What is the intake of food? It deals with cause and effect. So what equals what? Does your real awareness supersede all of that? So now we're at the point of a real awareness and not so much just the personal self. So again, that's a choice, and we do, market certain things. And the reason that we do this, I asked Kelsey to do this a long time ago, was simply uh, creating different avenues to reach people with, have conversations, and a step at a time lead them into what we're doing. It's not about the business so much as it is just simply making contacts because this life is going very fast and we're not setting up a business world, but we do utilize the systems here just like we use cars, like anybody else drives on the road. We're just simply using the cars. That's all. This is not our lifestyle. We're just simply using these things. So when it comes to that, I'm not going to advocate anything. It only makes sense to take care of yourself, but how you do that is up to you. But I see people that have a great awareness where their diets aren't too good at all. And so, again, it's a choice, but it can help. It's just going to depend upon the person. That's all.
Dwayne, Jeff has asked a question about dreams, and he wants to know uh, what will happen if a person cannot recall his or real side experiences. Is that person making any progress or not in his awareness?
Okay. Again, yes, those are the old ideas. Progress. Okay, I get it. All right. So look at it this way. Uh, like in school, when you're in the schoolroom and the teacher's giving the lesson, and usually gives it many times, and you take tests and whatever, and that's to see if really going to school is really to see if you're paying attention or not. So it's about how the individual pays attention. It's not about progress. Yes, things are happening in the real awareness because of the intent of the individual and their attitude, etc. They're being shown things. Just like when we were young, our mother took us around, our parents took us around and showed us things. But do we remember all that? No, we don't. But we do have the experience, right? So we're given experience in life because we've stepped up to a particular, so we're given a certain experience. And no, you're not going to remember it all because the personal self is very limited. It's not about progress. See, again, and spiritual growth and unfoldment and all these things are ideas. The reality of ourself is awareness. And you decide how you're going to pay attention. You decide if you're going to be aware of anything or not. So again, it's not even so much remembering your dreams. It's about your awareness and looking at it. Are you more aware? So again, this is a fine line here. So, the idea of just remembering your dreams and figuring them out, etc., that's more to the literal side, is what that is. That's more of the mechanics. It's about your real awareness and how you learn to pay attention and identify with that. That's what the new presentation is all about. Again, it's not the same as the old stuff. This is where, again, people are bringing in the old stuff. And I understand because, as people come to the new presentation, all they have to look to is what they have experienced. And some people will read a few things or a couple pages or even one of the books and say, well, this sounds just like this over here. Well, that's because they're relating to their own personal experience that they've read from another book or something like that. Because for the most part, I can only use the same words. But the reality of what is being presented is about the individual's awareness, not the knowledge and experience so much that they're collecting. That's a difference. This is where this takes off. This is where you recognize, okay, the real universes as opposed to thinking them out and thinking that you know something. Yes, you can know about it. It doesn't mean you recognize it. So, yeah, this is something that the individual, this is the challenge too, Charles. He's going to decide how he's going to recognize what he doesn't see or experience in the personal self. You see, there's the challenge there too. It's not all laid out for you. Again, those were the babysitting days. This is where you have to be a risk taker and decide to see what you can't see. This is where we're at, Charles. I'm not going back to those days. You might say we're moving forward. In other words, the nowness life is becomes more so, but you have to recognize it, how it does that. You see?
Tonton Jeff has asked, he has actually two questions. He says, when he goes to bed, between that twilight zone and sleep itself, he often sees like you can see some chickens, you can see a hen, I can see a cock or something like that. It often happens like that to him, but he doesn't know what it actually signifies. And then also he says when
let's take the first one. Let's just take it one at a time, Charles.
Okay.
You loaded up too much. So is that the first idea?
Yeah, that's the first question. Where he
Okay.
sees these hens or chickens or a cock or what like that before within that in that twilight zone between waking and full sleep. So he sees these birds, a cock, a hen, chickens, and they, they follow. They seem to be regular with him. So he doesn't know whether they have any significance.
Well, I've seen chickens and things like that too. And I don't try to figure them out as any significance. Okay, so again, it's like you see dogs and cats and birds and people on the street. You see them on the real side too. It's not that everything has a significance.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, so this is where again after time, it's like, gee, I keep seeing these chickens, so they must be chickens. You see, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
How about that? Okay.
Okay.
So it's like a farmer when he gets up in the morning. What does he see every morning? Okay. Sees his chickens, his cows, whatever. Sees the same stuff every day. And so on the real side too, we have our positions, and uh, you know, I would say that this is where he's at on the real side, which is fine. He starts from there, but then you go from there. That's a position just like the house you're in. You all of a sudden, then you go from there. You may all of a sudden go on the real side and you're still in your house, but then you decide to go somewhere else. So, these are just points of, or places and experiences that we have. We all come and go from somewhere. Yes. And this is the best thing about awareness. So, in creation, there are places. We go to places, we see things, etc. This is how it is. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And you just figure this out. It's really kind of humorous. So, sometimes you can ask Rebazar or whatever, gee, I see chickens every day. What does that mean? And you'll probably laugh and go, well, uh, do they have to mean something? They're chickens. Okay. So again, sometimes they're just chickens, and it's just a
Mm-hmm.
place you are. And so, again, it's learning to recognize your real awareness and also deciding with that. That's a decision. But your five bodies that you have, the personal self, they're still going to have experiences aside from your real awareness in creation. I see it with myself also. My five bodies are certain places where my awareness always isn't. And sometimes I wonder, well, gee, why is my body there? Just kind of like I'm in this box here and where I live. It's like, well, gee, why is my body there? I really don't want it there, but it's got to be somewhere. So you see, there's a difference between the body and the awareness. This is what you're learning now. So sometimes there is a significance. Maybe that's his neighbors that, are thinking chicken.
Hmm.
And again, it can be a lot of things. And when I see the members, so here we go with the membership idea. When I see them in Joni's house, inside her house, they're little kitties running around. They're animals because they're confined. But once they step outside of her house, in other words, outside of the consciousness that she's created, they become people. They all of a sudden, whoop, they go up and they become a person. I've seen it. You see, so it's very interesting what we see or whatever, but he'll figure it out. He'll have fun doing that.
Yeah. Okay. And his second recurrent dream is that when he sees a cigarette, maybe he will see a cigarette in his dream, or somebody uh, smoking, or he will just see cigarette smoke, and he has there is a pattern to this in the way physical, his daily activities unfold. When he has that kind of dream, everything that he will, maybe he has a project to carry out, it will not work out well. So that when he sees the cigarette smoke or somebody smoking or just a cigarette burning out there, it means uh, his uh, his enterprise would not be fruitful. So that is what he has shared with us.
What is his Charles? I'm just curious. What does he do? What is his occupation here?
I don't quite know, but he used to
Did you
work.
ask him?
When he says he's a businessman, he's an entrepreneur, and for now, business is on the downside, so he's waiting for anything to crop up.
Okay, so usually, what is cigarette smoking? Usually, for the most part, it's an old habit. Okay, so he has to look at it from his own angle, and that is that um, just as an idea, I'm not saying I'm right. He can be doing things the same way, and they're not working out. So I've had to reinvent myself many times because I was a general contractor. I worked for myself. I was an entrepreneur, and everything I'm doing is that too, with the new presentation, etc. So it's not always easy because it's of a particular. But again, we only have so much time here, so I want to focus on this and not just business. So you'd have to look at the overall of the individual. It's not just saying, oh, gee, it's this or that. Charles, it's like when you go to the movies, and I'm assuming you've seen movies. Well, in the first 5 or 10 minutes, you're thinking, oh, well, this is what the movie's about. But until you see the whole movie, you don't. You don't really know what it's about. You can get up and walk out, and your friends tell you later, oh, no, that was just the beginning. It had nothing to do with the movie. And all of a sudden, now you go back and see it, and you see the difference. So he's got to go through the whole idea here, and it may take years before he sees it. But again, the cigarette smoke, and especially in the business world, a lot of people smoke. They smoke and drink, and they do all this social activity. And so, but for the most part, what I've seen, it's old habits. Is cigarette smoking, not the best of habits either, because cigarette smoking is not necessary. So it's something that's not necessary. So again, it's figuring it out. Each person has to figure out their life. We're shown certain things, but we have to figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, concerning what he says about the cigarette smoke and somebody smoking the dream as some signs, some harbingers of, as a harbinger of bad luck for him. I also have such dreams. They are my private markers. I don't I know them for myself. When I see certain activities in my on the real side, I just know that whatever I'm going to do will be successful. And if I see the opposite, I know what will happen. There are about 3 markers in my dreams, 3 activities that if I see in my dream, I know that everything I'm going to do will be fruitful. And then even going to see somebody, in fact, like you said, it's just paying attention to your to being aware of yourself and your environment, your activities. If I'm going to see somebody, I know if what I'm going to do will be successful or not. Even just taking a taxi, the markers are there. I don't reveal them to anybody, but I just know that what I'm going to do. Sometimes I don't just go because I've already had the sign. I know that it will not work, and that is how it is. So I think Tonton Jeff on is maybe of that order too.